Hello everyone and welcome to Roadmap. So today's topic is Resources and Development Part 1, and if you like the video, don't forget to click on thumbs up button below. You can also subscribe for more video updates, and you can also share, and you can also give your suggestions in the comment section below. Topics to be covered are Introduction, Resources and their types, Development of resources, Sustainable development, Resource planning, Land resource, Soil as a resource. Now coming to the introduction, first tell me that can you identify and name the various items which are used in making life comfortable in our villages and town? Just take a piece of paper and pen and list the items and name the materials which are used in their making. So everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, is termed as a resource. And the process of transformation of things available in environment involves an interdependent relationship between nature, technology, and institutions. Human beings interact with nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate their economic development. So do you think that resources are gifts of nature as is assumed by many? Actually, they are not, because the resources are a function of human activities. Human beings themselves are essential components of resources. They transform material available in our environment into resources and use them. Now, on the basis of that, resources are of two types, natural resources and human resources. Natural resources as renewable and non-renewable resources, and human resources are structure and institutions, and quality and quantity. There are two types. We'll discuss in more detail in the next slides. So coming to the types of resources, now there are different types of resources on the basis of their source. So on the basis of origin, there are biotic resources and abiotic resources. The biotic resources are obtained from biosphere and have life such as human beings, flora, fauna, fisheries, and livestock. Abiotic resources are those things which are composed of non-living things, and the examples such as rock and metals. On the basis of exhaustibility, renewable resources and non-renewable resources are the two types of resources. So the renewable resources are the resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical, or mechanical processes, and these are known as renewable or replenishable resources. Examples such as solar, wind energy, water, forest, and wildlife. The renewable resource may be further divided into continuous or flow. The non-renewable resources are those which occur a very long geological time. Examples such as mineral and fossil fuels. These resources take millions of years in their formation, right? And some of the resources like metals are recyclable, and some like fuels, fossil fuels, cannot be recycled and get exhausted with their use. So on the basis of ownership, there are four types: individual-based resources, community-based resources, national resources, and international resources. The individual resources are those which are owned privately by individuals. Many farmers own land which is allotted to them by government against the payment of revenue. And in villages, there are people with land ownership, but there are many who are landless. And urban people own plots, houses, and other property. Plantation, pasture lands, ponds, water and wells are some of the examples of resources ownership by individuals. You can make a list of resources which are available in your household. So the community resources are the community owned resources which are accessible to all members of a community, like the village or town. Examples such as the public parks, picnic spots, playgrounds. These are all the examples of community-based resources. Now, rational resources are those resources which belong to the nation. The country has legal powers to acquire even private property for public good, You might have seen roads, canals, railways being constructed on fields owned by some individuals. Urban development authorities get empowered by the government to acquire land. All the mineral, water resources, forest, wildlife, land within the political boundaries and oceanic area, which are up to 12 nautical miles from the coast, are termed as territorial water, and resources therein belong to the nation. Now, coming to the international resources, these are the resources which are owned by international institutions and they regulate them. The oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone belong to open ocean and no individual country can utilize these without the concurrence of international institutions. Now, on the basis of status of development, there are potential resources, developed resources, stocked resources, and reserves. So, the potential resources are the resources which are found in the region but have not been utilized. So, the examples such as the western parts of India, Rajasthan, Gujarat have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy, but these are not developed properly. The developed resources are the resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. Development of resources depends on technology and level of their feasibility. Now, the stock resources are the materials in the environment which have a potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access these, and they are included among the stock. Examples such as water is a compound of two inflammable gases, hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have the required technical know-how to use them for this purpose, and they are considered as stock. Now, reserves are the subset of the stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how. So we can utilize them because we know that how we can use them, but their use has not yet been started. We know that they are usable, but the research has not been done properly yet, and this can be used for meeting our future requirements. The river water can be used for generating hydroelectric power, but presently it is being utilized only to a limited extent. And the water in the dams, forest is a reserve which can be classified, which can be used in the future. So this is all about the types of resources. Now, coming to the development of resources. Resources are vital for human survival, right? And they are also important for maintaining the quality of life. So it was believed that resources are gifts of nature. As a result, human beings used them indiscriminately, and this has led to many problems. So few of them are depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals, accumulation of resources in few hands, which in turn divided the society into two segments, the rich and the poor people. So the indiscriminate exploitation of resources has led to global ecological crisis such as global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, land degradation, climate changes. These are all taking place just because of the overuse of these resources. So an equitable distribution of resources has become essential for a sustained quality of life and global peace. If the present trend of resource depletion by a few individuals and countries continues, the future of our planet is in danger. So the resource planning is essential for sustainable existence of all forms of life. Sustainable existence is a component of sustainable development. So now coming to the sustainable development, what exactly sustainable development means is the development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of our future generations. Now, in terms of sustainable development, the two motives or two goals were decided, and they were Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit 1992 and Agenda 21. So what exactly Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit 1992 is? In June 1992, more than 100 heads of states met in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for the first International Earth Summit, and the summit was convened for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development at the global level. And the assembled leaders signed the Declaration on Global Climate Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21 for achieving Sustainable Development Goal in the 21st century. And Agenda 21 is the declaration signed by the world leaders in 1992 at United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, that is UNCED, which took place at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and it aims at achieving global sustainable development. It is an agenda to combat environmental damage, property, disease through global cooperation on common interest, mutual needs, and shared responsibility. One major objective of Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. So this is all about the sustainable development, and in the coming videos we'll learn about the resource planning and the rest of the topics. So I hope you are enjoying the video. Stay tuned for more lessons to come, and thank you for watching.